quirky law that basically says that in terms of body cams, it's not readily available to the public and that you have to request it from a judge. So that's what's being done right now. But, you know, as a former prosecutor, if everybody is agreeing that they want to have the body camera released, there wouldn't be any problem with it. So it does lead the family and other people to suspect that, well, why wouldn't you just do it? Why wouldn't you just go to a judge? Because anytime you go to a judge and something is uncontested, the judge just grants it as a matter of formality, and no one is contesting not releasing the body cam. So I don't really get why that wasn't done in a more expeditious fashion. And the other thing is, there's always an exception to every rule. And so even though there may be some waiting period that they have under their law down there, there's always exceptions, and they could have just have gone to the judge and said, look, we have to do it in this case. We have to have it released right now, immediately.
The Justice Department, as you know, now looking into police tactics in Minneapolis. They've also just started an inquiry into police practices in Louisville as well. What do you make of the Biden administration's efforts to investigate police tactics, and will it have much of an impact?
Well, I definitely think it'll have much of an impact to start, you know, with the last question first, because it's what was done under the Obama era, which, you know, Biden was the vice president, where there were more than, over the course of time, not just under the Obama administration, but over the course of time, there have been more than 20 consent decrees with police departments. So what is being done in Louisville right now is the Department of Justice will go in, they will look at everything, not just the training, but to see if there is any unreasonable searches, any unreasonable executions of search and seizure warrants, any unreasonable stops, because we already know that in this country, black people are more likely to be stopped by the police, even though they're less likely to have any contraband or anything illegal in their cars. And they're also going to look into see if all of these things add up to being a race problem. Obviously, we know that there's a problem with the execution of search and seizure warrants in Louisville, because that was what happened with Breonna Taylor. Here she was, a 26-year-old woman that was asleep in her bed when the police came in on a no-knock warrant, and she was killed, and there are no charges that were brought as a result of that. So what will happen is, if the Department of Justice realizes that there is reason to suspect that there has been violations of law, violations of policies, the policies are not being they're not being followed, but basically if it's based on race in this instance, then what they will do is they will release a public report, which has been done, like I said, in over 20 other cities over time. They will release a public report, and then they will try to see if they can get an agreement with the city to agree to consent to resolving some of the problems. And all these things take a matter of years. It's not something that's going to be a quick fix. It's not something that the Justice Department goes in and several months later it's resolved. Some of these consent decrees have gone on literally for more than 10 years, but at least it's some progress in the making, and that hopefully will happen in Louisville, Kentucky.
Debbie, a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your analysis.